Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about how to go from 0 to 1 million in remote ARR in less than 12 months using the telescope approach. If you are trying to get to that first remote market million and would like to avoid the mistakes of a bunch of other B2B companies who grew in the US and Europe, then stick around. If you don't like flying blind into a new market and subscribe to the doctrine of going in with good market intelligence, then you're in the right place. This is particularly a video for companies with lots of R&D or whose technology requires significant investment, like enterprise AI tech, where it takes 2 or 3 years to get the basics of machine learning working properly. Or suppose you have hardware, smart materials company, or some other out of this world technology. In that case, what you learned today is enough to seriously increase your company's market power and growth capabilities. So here are a few of the things that we'll cover today. We'll talk about rewards of compounded growth, using small teams like a startup, expansion frameworks, how and why to engage a niche, creating video sales letters so BDRs can cut through the noise. This one's going to be very focused on the tactics of going international. So before the pandemic, things were getting a bit out of control in this field of SaaS and deep tech and international market development. If you think about all the travel we all used to do, and for me, based here in the Netherlands, I would travel 10 times a year across the Atlantic, and physical meetings were for sure required, and big box events seemed to kind of make sense back then. But the pandemic has been a great leveler. And all that remains now is what we started with in the field of B2B, which is building a working product, getting product market fit, and being better than the competition. So first of all, why do we put ourselves through this grinder to begin with? That's a personal question. Everybody's got to answer that for themselves. But what I can say is that the lowest common denominator for founders and sales leads over a 5-year period is looking at the compounding impact of the value of equity and the value of commissions. I made this assessment early in the COVID days, so almost a couple of years ago, trying to inspire executives not to wait too long to get moving. Our thesis is that the earlier you test product market fit in your remote market under those conditions I described before, and can find a sales funnel that sustains your business, the more successful you'll be. This video will share an approach to go from 0 to 1 million in remote ARR in the next 12 months using what Index Ventures calls the telescope approach. By the way, if you want to drill down into the metrics, we can share a spreadsheet with you and you can run your own numbers. There's a big difference between 20, 30% or 50, 60% growth year over year. So the difference between Index Ventures portfolio companies who can expect a Series A of 10 million or more and follow-ons in the 20 to potentially hundreds of millions range is that we need to find an affordable and incremental approach. Index Ventures is one of the great cross-Atlantic VCs, and they put out an ebook describing successful US expansion strategies. This is a good one and can be read, and you can do a self-assessment in less than 20 minutes. The punchline is to use a small team to analyze the market and prepare the ground. And that in some cases, that should begin from the start. In other cases, it should begin after the company has established itself in its regional market. Since telescoping into a market is how they describe companies with huge potential where there are low boots on the ground needed, and because that approach is perfect for the pandemic, we'll cover that a lot in this video. But in this session, we'll go 2 or 3 drill downs deeper. I'll share some real case studies and describe the main steps in an action flow to reduce your risk and be super capital efficient. Investing 4 to 6 months in a concentrated manner can change a company's trajectory. You might think you can't do it, or that you need to do a bunch of other things first, or that some people are going to judge you. But I'm here to share some stories where it worked. The point is, you can do it. The other thing is that markets are not going to get less noisy. We keep on thinking it's going to slow down. But when pandemia eases into whatever steady state it will, things are going to get more competitive, not less. So this video can help you get your head on straight for that. My guess is that the tactics we discuss here are the things that you're familiar with, but that you haven't put them together in this particular way. I also believe the next 30 to 40 minutes, you'll hear some essential stuff you can carry with you for the next 10 years and keep building a successful career in B2B tech. So the basic premise, don't wait, start now, but do it wisely. And once the unit economics justify it, scale it up. You may think that it would be better during the pandemic to stay local and expand existing clients, or that internal budgets are baked and there's no time. You don't want to be seen as a flip-flopper or distract your team. International may not fit your personal relationships, like your partner, your kids. But if you're an investor, you probably want more IRR and to help your portfolio companies. If you're a founder or sales lead, you want to be rewarded for risk. You want to learn new skills. You want to build a career, pay for the kids' college, buy a house, do more without ruining your personal life, help pay salaries, retain employees, or all of it. Hopefully, by the end of this video, whatever drivers and limiting factors there are, you'll be at ease about how to tackle remote markets. So get your coffee or your tea, stick around, and I'll try to make this as helpful as possible to executives who are responsible for blowing out the international side of the business. First, let me share a few cases